This is a story from the land of Nod. Hi, my name is Annie and I create everything that you see and hear here at Land of Nod. Each week I retell a wonderful children's story that has been specially chosen to reflect a unique place, country, culture or people. These are not your average fairy tales. They are stories from all of us because we all have a story to tell. If you would like to listen to one more special story each week and completely ad-free, please sign up at patreon.com/Land of Nod, where you can also get a special discount off my first kids book, Leave Some Sea for Me. And now, who's ready for a story? The story of the 3 bears. Once upon a time, there were 3 bears who lived together in a little house of their own in a small wood. One of them was a little, small, wee bear, and one was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great, huge bear. They had each a pot for their porridge, a little pot for the little, small, wee bear, and a middle-sized pot for the middle bear, and a great big pot for the great, huge bear. And they each had a chair to sit in, a little chair for the little small wee bear, and a middle-sized chair for the middle bear, and a great chair for the great huge bear. And they had each a bed to sleep in, a little bed for the little small wee bear, and a middle-sized bed for the middle bear, and a great bed for the great huge bear. One day, after they had made the porridge for their breakfast and poured it into their porridge pots, they walked out into the wood while the porridge was cooling, that they might not burn their mouths by eating it too soon. And while they were walking, a little old lady came to the house. Now she could not have been a good, honest old lady, for first she looked in at the window, and then she peeped in at the keyhole, and seeing that nobody was in the house, she lifted up the latch. The door was not fastened, because the bears were good bears who did nobody any harm, and never suspected that anybody would harm them. So the little old lady opened the door and went in, and well pleased was she when she saw the porridge on the table. If she had been a good old lady, she would have waited until the bears came home, and then, perhaps, they would have asked her to breakfast. For they were good bears, a little rougher so, as the manner of bears is, but for all that, they were very good-natured and hospitable bears. But she herself was an impatient, bad old lady, and so she set about helping herself. So first she tasted the porridge of the great huge bear, and that was too hot for her, and she said a bad word about that. And then she tasted the porridge of the middle bear, and that was too cold for her, and she said a bad word about that too. And then she went to the porridge of the little small wee bear, and tasted that, and that was neither too hot nor too cold, but just right. And she liked it so well that she ate it all up. But the naughty old woman said a bad word about the little porridge pot because it did not hold enough for her. Then the old lady sat down in the chair of the great huge bear, but that was too hard for her. Then she sat down in the chair of the middle bear, but that was too soft for her. And then, when she sat down in the chair of the little small wee bear, that was neither too hard or too soft, she found it just right. So she seated herself in it, and there she sat till the bottom of the chair came out, and down she came, plop, upon the ground. And the naughty old lady said a wicked word about that too. Then the lady went upstairs into the bedchamber in which the 3 bears slept. And first she lay down upon the bed of the great huge bear, but that was too high for her. And next she lay down upon the bed of the middle bear, and that was too low for her. And then she lay down upon the bed of the little small wee bear and found that it was neither too low nor too high, but was just right. So she covered herself up comfortably and lay there till she fell fast asleep. Now by this time the three bears thought that their porridge would be cool enough, so they came home to breakfast. The little old lady had left the spoon of the great huge bear standing in the porridge.
"Somebody has been at my porridge,"
said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And when the middle bear looked at his, he saw too that the spoon was standing in his porridge. They were wooden spoons. If they had ever been silver ones, the naughty old lady would have put them in her pocket. "Somebody has been at my porridge," said the middle bear in his middle voice. Then the little small wee bear looked at his, and there was a spoon in the porridge pot, but all the porridge was gone. "Somebody has been at my porridge and has eaten it all up," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. Upon this, the three bears, seeing that someone had entered their house and had eaten up little small wee bear's breakfast, began to look about them. Now, the little old lady had not put the hard cushion straight when she rose from the chair of the great huge bear.
"Somebody has been sitting in my chair,"
said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And the little old lady had squatted down the soft cushions of the middle bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the middle bear in his middling voice. And you know what the little old lady had done to the third chair? "Somebody has been sitting in my chair and has broken the bottom out of it," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. Then the three bears thought it necessary that they should make further search, so they went upstairs to their bedchamber. Now, the little old lady had pulled the pillow out of the bed of the huge great bear.
"Somebody has been lying in my bed,"
said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And the little old lady had pulled the bolster of the middle bears out of place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the middle bear in his middling voice. And when the little small wee bear came to look at his bed, there was the bolster in its right place, and there was the pillow in its right place too. And upon the pillow was the little old lady's face, which was not in its place, for she had no business there at all. "Somebody has been lying in my bed, and here she is still," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. The little old lady had heard in her great sleep. The little old lady had heard in her sleep the great, rough, gruff voice of the great, huge bear. But she was so fast asleep that it was no more to her than the roaring of the wind or the rumbling of thunder. And she had heard the middle voice of the middle bear, but it was only as if she had heard it in someone speaking in a dream. But when she heard the little small wee voice of the little small wee bear, it was so sharp and so shrill that it awakened her at once. Up she started, and when she saw the three bears on one side of the bed, she tumbled herself out at the other and ran to the window. Now the window was open, because the bears, like the good tidy bears they were, always opened their bedroom window when they got up in the morning. Out the little old lady jumped, and whether she broke her ankle in the fall, or ran into the wood and was lost there, or found her way out of the forest and was taken up by a policeman and sent to the house of correction for the thief that she was, I cannot tell you. But I can tell you that the three bears never again saw anything more of her, and were very careful to lock their door when they went into the forest to wait for their porridge to cool. The end.